Okay, first of all, thank you all for being here. We have to talk about the wigs. We have to talk about the outfits, because that is truly my favorite part of the show.
Oh yes, I'm so fortunate that they've given me these like gorgeous, luscious locks, which as you may have noticed, do have a tendency of migrating around. They're all extra characters, and the same with the gorgeous, gorgeous dresses that all have a lovely train that I have learned to sort of swish and
maneuver.
Yes.
Yeah. There's not enough of trains in modern fashion. You don't know how to use them yet.
Indeed. Oh, hello.
Yay.
Have you been there?
Welcome. All right, welcome, Danny Kornfeld. Okay. And our lovely Wulf Clark. What a crew. Welcome. So I forgot to mention I'm Maura. I'm in the artistic team here, and we're just so lucky to have such an amazing cast, an amazing crew on this show. I wanted to start by hearing how you ended up here. I know Ken has done the show before, but it was many moons ago.
Yeah.
How has it changed for you in the last 6 years?
Hello. Well, 6 years ago, at intermission, I used to put white makeup in my beard. And now, before Act 1, I put brown makeup in my beard. That's the main difference.
That's beautiful.
I mean, it's changed a ton. I mean, different cast, different theater, different vibe. It's fresh and clean, It's fun. Yeah. There you go.
Great. And Ali,
Yes.
have you played Guinevere before, or is this a dream role?
No, I did the show. I did Camelot my freshman year of high school, Pleasantville High School, Westchester County, New York. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes. I was in the ensemble and I understudied Nimue. I never went on, but I got to do one rehearsal. It was very exciting. And other than that, I don't know. It just had not been on my radar under like list of dream roles. I've been very fortunate to have gotten to play a lot of dream roles, and now it feels like it's coming to me at an amazing time when I get to really explore, and especially this production. I remember the high school production having a lot of words and being, long, and I think maybe we didn't understand all the nuances of it. But I think what's so amazing about this production is how Alan has really taken the script and made it feel so current and relevant and still honoring, the original intention of all of it, and to get to explore, right? Get to explore these amazing, very complicated relationships, right? It's wonderful for us to get to explore this marriage, this romance, this, do you know that in the novel, I love telling people this, I read The Once a Future King to prep for this, and at the end of the novel, Mordred actually comes to Guinevere and says, I'm going to tell everyone that Arthur's dead, and you're going to marry me. And the novel actually ends with Guinevere, who had barricaded herself in a tower, and these two have to go and save her. So I guess she's the only woman in the kingdom. I don't know.
Okay, we're adapting that for next season. That'll be the sequel coming out. I want to welcome Emmett O'Hanlon, our lovely Lancelot. So, Danny, this is actually not your first time at Barrington Stage. Can you give the inside scoop on your past here?
So, when I was in college, some years ago, I was a musical theater apprentice. It was an apprentice program, and I was in Fiddler on the Roof. There was 4 of us at the time, and ever since then, I have always had such an affinity for Barrington Stage, have always wanted to come back. And so it's so cool and exciting now to be back as a real pro.
We love a success story.
It's true. You owe it all to Barrington.
It all started here.
It all started.
And now you
My
get to be a
origin
delicious
story.
villain.
Mordred's origin story.
How is it being the bad guy? Is it fun?
Oh yeah. I mean, people are always like, how do you what do you draw from? I'm like, I'm bad in my everyday life. Isn't that hard? Oh.
This is Dakin Matthews, everyone. Welcome, second to settle in.
Okay, thank you.
Emmett, I'd love for you to tell us a little bit about how you ended up as Lancelot and how it's been playing him.
Well, it's funny. I don't know if you guys know Pearl Studios in New York City, but that's where all the auditions happen. Well, a lot of the auditions. And I was walking by the room when they were holding auditions for this, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm here. So I asked if they had a spot, and they happened to have a cancellation, and I walked in, and everybody was in front of me, including Alan, which was terrifying. I just very typical. I sang, they asked me to come back, I sang a whole bunch more, and I didn't think I got it, actually, because the guy that went after me was so good.
Do you know who it was?
Yeah, it was you, I know. No, I actually don't know who it is.
I'm trying to break out of the Arthur mold. I'm trying to, get some Lancelot in my life.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, I'd be a great Arthur. But it's one of those things, I did exactly what you're not supposed to do. I sang, I timed how long I was in there, and I was like, well, it was like 15 minutes. They must have really liked me. It was 15 minutes. And then as I came out, the next guy came in, they're like, oh, John, hi. I'm like, that's it, he got it. And then I'm sitting out there like, looking at things, like, how long is he in this for? How long is he in this? And he was in there
to the door just to see how he goes.
Oh, he was a great singer, which, 6 minutes. So, 15. I think I won.
Wow. Another origin story that I'm
Yeah, that's Lancelot's origin story. Not sure of himself at all.
Well, I'm glad that you happened to be there on the right day because, you added so much to it. And
Thank you.
You have a lot of classical training. All of you really do. In order to do such a musical in this form, I mean, we see so much like pop rock now. We see a lot of contemporary stuff. To go back to something that came out in 1960, how is that to perform? Is it different?
Well, for me, 1960s contemporary, because I sing opera. So for me, this is modern. No, I'm at home in the classical stuff because that's the world I came from. But watching all these guys who have done different genres that I have never and will never have to do is
Not with that attitude.
All right, well, yeah, I'm doing the last 5 years next. But so, getting to watch all these pros who have done all these different genres and done them so beautifully, for me, has been, a masterclass. You guys are so great.
Yeah, and I feel like these days it's fewer and far between that theaters, especially regionally, are programming classics. We get a lot of the Mamma Mia's, $1 Million Quartets and whatnot. And so anytime we get to revisit scores like these and books like these, I feel like it's such a gift and we're hungry for it.
Yeah, I agree.
When I was in school, all my voice teachers said, well, you're a golden age baritone, you're a golden age baritone, you're a golden age baritone. I said, okay, cool, got you, nice. You're Sky Mastersons, etc. And my first job was Rent. And I took the job, figured it out as I went, and after that I did Urinetown. And after that, it was just like, if you want to work, you're going to have to figure out how to not be a golden age baritone. And to, like you said, to come back to something like this, it's a relief, honestly. It's nice. It is, it really is, yeah.
Oh, well, I wanted to hear about your experience, Dakin. If you could pass the mic over. So you come from, you've done everything. You've done film, TV, you've done a lot of Shakespeare. Where does Camelot fit in your repertoire?
Well, I'm kind of a Johnny-come-lately to musical theater. I never did any for practically 45 to 50 years. Now I've become the expert in the non-singing role in the classical musical. I've done about 4 or 5 in the last 10 years, and it's always a treat. For me, I was never a big musical comedy guy. Didn't buy the records. Didn't go to Broadway. The first musical I ever saw, I think, was Fiorello with Tom Bosnia back in the day, and I didn't understand what was going on. I wasn't very culturally smart about it. But now what I find about it is, first of all, the music is so great. And the American musical comedy is a genre we invented. So it's great to continue to keep that genre alive. But for me, coming out of straight theater, mostly classical theater, all my life, it's just such a treat for me to work with triple threats. People who can not only act, but dance and sing as well. And also to work with people who, I don't know what it is about musical comedy people, but they're positive, they're healthy, they're upbeat most of the time. You know, you work in theater, not musical theater, sometimes it's not pleasant. I've never been in an unpleasant cast in a musical comedy. There's something about the music and about the health that you have to, the healthy, physical and psychological healthiness you have to be able to sing, dance, and act. It makes me feel really old and really young at the same time.
It's those endorphins from all the choreography. I want to know what the biggest challenge was for you all. Obviously, with this kind of a show, it's a massive show. I mean, you're sword fighting, and then there's ballet, and then you're singing like a high soprano. What has been the biggest challenge?
Slow down.
I'm happy to go first. So for me, I come from the world of opera primarily. I've done a number of musical theater gigs, and they've all been, I mean, a joy, like Dakin said. But I've only ever gotten to do a lot of acting in high school. And then, because in opera, you don't really speak except for some German operas. And you're speaking German, see, it doesn't matter. Nobody knows what you're saying. But I had, for me, the challenge, it was definitely the scariest thing for me, is coming and realizing I was going to be in scenes with these guys. And I know all their CVs, and that was terrifying. So for me, the biggest, the thing I was dreading the most, but also the most excited for, was to really just pick up on everything. These two made me cry every show, literally every show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank God I'm looking upstage for most of it. It's great.
Oh, that imposter syndrome is so
No,
real.
it's just true. It's just true.
You'd never know, brother. You really.
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
it's a pleasure.
Tell me I'm pretty.
What else was a challenge or something that surprised you maybe about the process?
Well, this is sort of an unusual one, but everyone here knows about. So we got to come here a little early and have principal rehearsal, and then Danny joined us a little while after that before the ensemble got here, and so it was great. We got to do some table work and really look at the text and stage a bunch of the scenes, and then somehow I got deathly ill for about 2 weeks. Like I never had been before. I had a fever for 2 weeks. I had a cough that would not quit, and as a singer, a cough is like nightmare because you're just worried about your vocal folds like jamming against each other. And so I would sometimes have to come into rehearsal just sort of masked and mute to learn the staging. And all of these folks were just so patient with me as I just, tried to like go into a corner and I still have a rib out of place. I was coughing so hard. It was no joke, whatever this was. But also, then trusting, it wasn't until we were in tech that I still wasn't 100%, I still was sort of coughing through tech, that I was able to start to sing and make sound again, and kind of trusting that all of that work that we had done, and all of the work, I made myself tiny little flashcards so I could memorize my lines without having to speak them out loud. And that idea of trusting that, that I had the skill set even without all of the bonus rehearsal time. I think we had never rehearsed that final scene really until we did like a run through.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting afternoons we had was when she came in and played the mute.
Yeah.
That is to say, she neither spoke nor sang, but she walked all her blocking through the whole show.
And mouthed the
Someone
words.
else spoke her lines.
Yes.
Someone else sang her song.
We had 3 Guinevere's going at once.
And because of the brilliance of our swings and understudies, it was
great.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like you were sitting at the back. I was sitting at the back of the rehearsal, watching it, and I could have sworn she was speaking and singing because the girls who were covering her were so in sync.
It was truly a team. It was a team effort.
That was fun.
Kate and Michael really stepped in, and we kind of tag teamed the rehearsal.
It was fun when you'd come on stage over here and then you'd hear the voice say, "What? Oh no, sorry, yes, you," and then the other singing is over there.
But almost immediately forgot it was happening because Ali's in the scene, and at some point, not too long after it starts, I'm just like, "Yep, that's what your voice sounds like now." I guess
Your voice just comes from behind my head.
Yeah, that's fine.
I feel like there's like a cool like experimental version of Camelot where
Yeah,
that's
that's what
sort
we're
of the
working on.
whole
Well,
thing.
they've done it. It's been done.
It's next week.
I'm curious if there's any audience questions. We're going for questions, not comments, so they have to end with a question mark right here.
How do you avoid stepping on her dress for all those dances?
We don't always avoid
We
that.
step on it every night.
Great question. I early on, when I was still speaking before I became ill, I suggested, knowing, having had a costume fitting and understanding that every dress I had a giant train, I suggested to these two that we start a little contest, and whoever stepped on my dress the least would get a prize at the end.
I'm not
But
winning
it
this
wasn't worth
contest.
counting.
Listen, I don't mean to hijack the dress thing, but that cape,
That's true.
brother.
Yes, they're quadruple threads.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
On their dress.
Cape off.
Look, that cape. If there's a thing, the cape will catch on that thing. It'll catch on the sword, it'll catch on the gauntlets, it'll catch on my boots, it'll catch on another actor's foot, it'll catch on
It
the
looks
scenery.
beautiful.
It looks gorgeous until I trip and bite the dirt, which I actually,
Yeah.
with the same exact piece of cloth, the same fabric, when we did, Alan and I did this in DC a billion years ago, when right at the end, right when you escape the thing, I run across the stage and I slid into second base. And I mean, I was horrified, man. Absolutely horrified. So it's a whole show of trains and capes and
Yes.
things to step on.
I'm thankful I only have one cape at the end.
It's common in shows like this that the actors, and especially the actresses, are supplied with rehearsal skirts, but they're not nearly as
Oh,
good.
no, they did not have the trains. And also, so because this is a remount in many ways, that Ken and Alan had done this before, the costumes had existed before, and the amazing woman who played Guinevere is significantly taller than I am, and so I think, and they weren't allowed, because they're rentals, to cut the fabric, and so they had to tuck everything up, but I think the easiest way was to sort of hem the dress in the front and leave the train. So it's even bonus train. But I will say, if you watch the show again, or perhaps you noticed tonight, I tried to do my best
She's great.
to do a little dramatic, justified by thought swoop to keep it out of, when I know they're coming near.
Yeah, the one in Camelot where it's the summer lingers. It's my favorite one. It's just like,
You should see her during If Ever I Would Leave You. Anytime I have to come up to her, she has to.
like that.
It's bonus skill.
It's very smooth though, honestly. It's a character choice.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a, please come closer to me, man. Let me make her through me. Yes, right here.
Aside from having done Camelot before, so having done fight scenes, who choreographed and who taught you how to fight?
Oh, who taught you how to fight, and how was the fight choreography for you? Had you done it
I almost
before?
killed this guy tonight, so.
Well, I don't do as much fighting as Emmett does.
Yeah.
Go ahead, yeah. Take it away, big dog.
I mean, we fight. We do fight.
Yeah, we do.
How was the fight? My wrist hurts a lot because you can do this like 8 or 9 times a week. But
There's a fight choreographer,
Oh,
and
sorry.
his
Yes,
name
that's what it
is
Ryan
Ryan
Winkles.
Winkles?
Yeah.
and I think he's from the area, right?
Yeah, he's-
Yeah, Shakespeare Co, I believe.
Yeah,
She's the resident fight choreographer.
Yeah, so he would come in and we would have different sessions with him, and he was so great because we have such varying skills. I had never picked up the sword before, and thankfully I really don't have to do much with it. But yeah, we ran the gamut of from very skilled and not, and he was so patient, and it really is choreo. It feels like a dance almost.
And every day we have a fight rehearsal. So we'll come in a little early, make sure we'll run the fights at half speed and then full speed to make sure things are safe and sort of troubleshoot.
Yeah, we do that before every show.
Yeah.
We run through it.
The best fight choreographers I've had, and I've done some sword swinging, I enjoy it. I love doing it. I think that good or bad fight choreo really adds or detracts. But the best fight choreographers that I've worked with have taken what you naturally do, how you naturally take the word fight out of it. The best choreographers are able to take what you naturally do, what you're confident about with your body, what feels right, and turn that into something that makes sense narratively and physically. So I guess that would kind of answer the question, yeah.
Thank you.
Great. I think we have time for one more. All the way in the back.
What was the process of building the character work, especially, and as well as establishing world building with your characters? Because I don't know how much time did y'all have to build as well.
What was it like to build your characters, and how did you go about creating that world?
I'm going to start again. Don't look at me. Oh.
Me? Well, we had the benefit of a good amount of table work, of just of all of us sitting and talking through the scenes, talking about our sort of where we come from, what our relationships are, and then on the side I'm a little bit of a monster, and I love some source material. So I read Once a Future King. I read John Steinbeck. Fun fact. Tried to rewrite the Mallory version of about King Arthur. Yeah, he got about halfway through. It was a little interesting. I have a little book downstairs. It's the Book of Guinevere, and it pulls from Mallory and Tennyson and all of the different authors. And so it was partially that, trying to understand what had been written and said about these very mythical, oft talked about characters. And then it was about figuring out how that works in the context of this, and figuring out, for me, it was so much about my relationships with these two characters, and getting to build, my relationship with Arthur, understanding that I came from royalty, that I was running. It was my first day away from home. That is part of that first scene, and sort of what wins me over. I think Guinevere is very tied to the big romantic gestures, right? Simple Joys of Maidenhood really sets up exactly what it is that she falls in love with. And so she falls in love with Arthur when he's talking about how he wants to be the best king that there can be, the most splendid king who ever sat on any throne. Like, that is the moment that really draws her in. And similarly, their relationship has kind of had a rift in it, because they weren't able to have children, because all of a sudden the baby that they created, which is the Round Table, is kind of usurped by someone who doesn't think women belong in these discussions.
Only an Act 1.
And then Lancelot does this thing that that is sort of the biggest miracle, the greatest of gestures, and turns to her and says, "I did this for you." And that that to me explains how it's possible to kind of have two amazing relationships existing at the same time. That's a very long-winded answer to your question, but I like to really think about how the roles are written, and then how it relates to humanity, right? To really understand how these people think.
Can I share something that you shared with us about Guinevere? In the Once and Future King, there's a beautiful, beautiful passage. And T.H. White says something about how everyone loves to say that you ought to gather your flowers while you may. And in all her life, Guinevere gathered only 2 flowers, and those 2 flowers were the best. So she catches a lot of heat in a lot of these interpretations, but in T.H. White's The Once and Future King, Guinevere is certainly a sympathetic character, and I think that you do it beautifully.
Anyone else want to take a stab at it?
That was such a beautiful ending.
Yeah. One thing Ken had said at some point, we were going through and figuring out how we all relate to each other, the three of us mainly, the love triangle, and why Arthur forgives us immediately, and how we can justify carrying on an affair while also loving Arthur completely. And you had said, I think it was something like, all of us would die for each other, but none of us want each other to die. Yeah. And that's why, even at the end, on the cusp of war, or on the cusp of a very, very rough battle of that war, you're still, the first question Arthur asks when we walk around is, were you hurt in the escape? So yeah, I guess to relate back to your question, it really was, at least for me, the difference between Lancelot in the first scene of Act 1 and the last scene of Act 2, and where those changes happen. But really, it was also listening to you and Ken, because you guys had done this before, and hearing how different these characters were from any Camelot I had seen before, because none of them are similar to any other production that I've seen. Good question.
Great question.
Great. Well, I know it's late, so I'm gonna let you all go to sleep. I'm gonna let you guys go to sleep. It's been a long day of work for you, but thank you for staying. And thank you